Welcome to another video on my Raspberry Pi. Running Raspberry and Linux and having well, an attempt still on getting a pulse modulation motor from fischertechnik running and another pulse width modulation for an LED, and everything controlled by Python. I've had a problem getting this 4-second delay stream running, and well, last time was exactly the same, and it took me a reboot and some more attempts to get it running smoothly with some refreshing, as you can see happening now. And I wondered what it may be, and just by coincidence the problem was that the stream was freezing, and instead of restarting the stream, I restarted the player, because the player is running on the laptop. And it is a network stream, as you can see. And after restarting the player, nothing was wrong anymore. So my figure is, for some reason, that the network is not or the network stream is not quite as it should be. Anyway, it works in the sense that the stream works. Last time when I powered up everything, the propeller started running, which is clearly now not the case. So what I want to do is now start the program, see whatever happens. I do expect, since I last time changed this part of the code, that it that this still runs, and then I mean this LED with this wire straight from the GPIO. So let's run it. And yes, it is still a 4 seconds delay, but you can still see it burn when it is its turn in 4 seconds. Yes, well, but the propeller is very quiet. So let's see if some manual assistance helps. Not really. Not really. So as far as that goes, I am back to square one, square zero even. So with the LED working, what's wrong with this? Do I need a servo motor after all? I have no clue. I do know that there is power, because without the power the LED wouldn't work. Although, yes, oh, by the way, this LED is working too. It is a bit hard to see, but let me bend it a little. At least you should see that happen. Yeah, you see the glow. It does work. That means that there is power anyway. the big question is, why isn't the motor doing anything? In the past, when I just did this, it just kept running. No such thing now, obviously. Alright, time for a multimeter to get involved. So, right here, the necessary connection to the mass, to the ground, a multimeter set to voltage, measurement 20 volts maximum, and this probe should be in here, so I better hold it, and let's wait for the stream to catch up. And that's of course a disadvantage with 4 seconds delay. Anyway, I am going to measure the mass, no, the power. And the power gives me 4.7 volts. So that is alright. Now, what does this connection give me? And yes, I have to wait. This connection with the transistor gives me 4.7 volts. So this is a bit strange, of course. Because it runs at some pulse modulation, and right now it gets 4.7 volts from here and 4.7 volts from here. So measuring here and measuring here doesn't give a potential difference. So should I connect this one? Oh, yeah, apparently. So connecting it to the ground makes it run. But does that mean that when I stop it, it stops? No, that certainly doesn't mean. And that is strange, because in my other project with Arduino, I have to put one probe or one wire into the plus and one wire to the pulse modulation, and it works. No questions asked. So once again, I rewire the motor to the plus, and it works. So this I find strange. This I find really strange. So first it doesn't want to work. Then I rewire it with one wire to the ground and it starts. Then I rewire it once again to the plus as it was, and it starts. Is this then pulse width modulation control or not? Well, I don't think so, because the pulse width modulation program is not running. So what I can do is change the multimeter to frequency. Then I have to remove the voltage ground probe and check for the frequency, which is 120 Hertz. And by experience I do know that that works. Now you see that the propeller stops and it doesn't do a thing anymore. Why is that? Once again, measuring the frequency. Is 70 Hertz now. 60 Hertz. And to my knowledge that should work. So why is the frequency suddenly down? Let's start the program again. Does this work? Not really. What frequency do I measure? 60 Hertz. Well, varying between 50 and 90 Hertz. Which is odd. Well, yeah. Considering what happens here, it is odd. Oops. Alright, let me rewire again to minus. Needless to say, the motor runs because of the potential difference. So rewiring again to the plus, and it doesn't do anything. And guess what? It says 4 kilohertz. Do I get it? No. I don't. What's up? Taking a closer look at the circuit. Well, of course the motor. Then one LED. This software pulses modulation controlled LED. But then also here an LED. This LED is directly controlled by pulses modulation hardware wise and this transistor. And now there's a problem because there's a voltage which I measured, 4.7 volts over this transistor, and that should clearly illuminate this LED, and this LED doesn't do anything. So I have to measure the voltage on this wire, which is 4.13 volts. Well, anyway, over 4 volts, which means that this LED should be working. So why isn't it? Broken like other LEDs? Could be. A way to find out if any LED is working, I can simply put one of the other LEDs like this one right next to this one. All I have to do is make sure that the wiring is in the right direction. An LED is nothing but an illuminating diode. So now I should have two LEDs burning on this software pulse modulation. Question is, will it? No. Let's wait till it burns. No, it doesn't burn. Why is that happening? Ah, now it does. Alright, let's put it in again. The right direction, of course. And wait a bit. Yeah, alright. So this means that this second LED is working as well. I can take it out safely. Means that I am going to remove this one. Put this one in. Alright, see what happens. The motor starts running. Exchange of LED makes a motor running. Now that's a nice one. So is this LED faulty? Big chance it is, so let's put it right here. And see whatever happens. Yeah, alright, this LED can be discarded. So this one works. And let me show, yeah, right here. The replacement works, this one works, this one works, and the motor works. Alright. Makes that, does that make me happy? Well, kind of, because this assumes that it works on pulse modulation. But what about when I stop the program? Does it stop? I do hope so. No, it does not. Which reminds me for another thing. This LED is not stopping to burn either. And that reminds me that I need to clear out the GPIO in some way or another. Okay, next step, improving the code. Time to make some code changes, and in the past, when using Python with the GPIO, I used GPIO dot cleanup. However, I can't do that here because I am using wiring PI, RPIO, but not GPIO. This is commented out. So the only solution that I have is then copying this one to the last line and then say alright, put it to rest, and you may notice some delay. Well, that is of course because this is the stream is busy and that takes up resources. Anyway, this should do it. That is for this LED, for this one. So let's check if that indeed works. And then I will have to wait. Alright, on the high I quit. It says clear channel, but it stays high. Oops. Okay, so let me do something different then. Maybe I should do GPIO. Will it work? GPIO cleanup. Who knows? If I uncomment it and I say instead of wiring PI, I say GPIO dot cleanup. Save. Test. And exit. Well, it seems to have no problem with this being uncommented. It just clears out the GPIO, which is a nice thing to do. So let's keep it that way. Another thing is, still, despite that this works, despite that this works, and despite that this works, this should stop working. On the other hand, well, not on the other hand, this is controlling, or should be controlling, this circuit. So once again, it is running on some 3.5 volts here, but that's not the point. What is its frequency right now? And I have to lose this probe because it's only for voltage and current. Let me wait a moment. Well, okay. I am measuring 9 kilohertz. Why am I measuring 9 kilohertz? I'm starting the program again. What am I measuring now? 6 kilohertz. I should be measuring something quite different. So the 60 kilohertz, the 60 hertz and lower are gone. Why was I measuring those frequencies? I'm very much puzzled about this. It's very nice that I have all this working, but this, no. Alright, next step. Maybe a different motor. I don't know. Alright, Last thing I'm going to do is to change the code in such a way that I use only one of these last figures and then see what happens. Because maybe, just maybe, I'm doing everything wrong. So, all these. Comment out. I'll have to comment this out as well. Yeah, this one as well. And see whatever happens. Alright, nothing spectacular. But I do assume that there is some difference between the 1500 and say 0. Now I know there is a big difference here as well, so I am cutting this short in a way, and I make 90 of it, because this one ends on 80. Now this one is 90. This one will be 100. And this one will be 110. And let's say no timing. Let's see whatever that happens. Alright, time for a frequency measurement then. Right at the transistor. Well, the wire then. Alright, that shows absolutely nothing. So I will take the other wire and do exactly the same. Alright, that says 4 kilohertz. .20 and 470. So it varies a little bit from 470 to 5, and the speed, as far as I can see, is not varying, so probably this is not making any difference at all. And if there is, considering the very little bit in hundreds, no, not hundreds, 5.3 kilo, 4.7 kilohertz to 5, that is 300 kilohertz, 300 hertz difference. So there is difference in measuring, but if that influences the motor, remains to be seen. Anyway, thanks for watching. what did I do? Recap. Changing the wiring with this motor from plus to minus, etc. Replacing this LED, which made this motor go work again. Well, again, checking out this LED, which resumes to work. Checking voltage and checking frequencies, including RPI GPIO, hoping that this would make a difference, but it hasn't, as far as I know. And commenting out much of the code and see whatever difference this in combination with this makes. Remains to be seen. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you don't want to subscribe, I am also on Twitter and Instagram for that. See my website. I should actually put it at the beginning of my video as well. Please, if you like this video and my other videos, consider to make a small donation to keep it all alive. For that, please also see my website. And this is certainly to be continued. I'm not done yet. Bye bye.